Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Circuit of the Americas for round 17 of PRL Season 10. And it's a very poor qualifying effort there. Half a second shy of my PB. Should have been on the front row. May have made a big difference in this race. But we have to see what we can do here. We're the crown champion, of course, last week in Suzuka. So not quite as consequence-based, this position we have on the grid. But Danny, of course, is still fighting off Stuart for P3 in the championship, so that is her prerogative and also mine in this race. But we've both been struck into turn 1 by Kremer. That costs Danny traction in the battle for second with Stuart, and in fact Kremer actually gets past me as well in the mayhem. We'll have a look at slow motion. Danny with a good line, looks to get great traction but gets clobbered, pushed onto the curb. Same thing for me, very sideways. Both of us losing out massively in traction position wise as well. But Kremer was offline later in the lap, and that gave me an opportunity up the inside. But there's a sweeper here, which I thought I'd taken full throttle. I may have hit him, which I did not intend to do, so I had to back off. But then there was still an opportunity into the next corner. I don't think there was any contact, at least from my perspective. So we had resumed in P4. However, there is a slight gap to the cars in front.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
Don't know about a good start, Jeff. That would probably not be my assessment. But we now have a Toro Rosso once again looking down the inside. Take the outside line, but he's very much forcing us off the track there. I didn't have him investigated for that, because I thought, very small, but we probably would have got a penalty, especially as he didn't intend to readdress here. As you can see, he's still battling me, but I did take the position straight back anyway. So while there was a little bit of time loss and a bit of angst, it wasn't that bad. Not malicious, I wouldn't have thought. Now I followed Danny for a few laps until we realised that I was probably being a little bit held up behind my teammate. She allowed me through, and the strategy started.
Okay, the pit window has opened. Pit window now open for you.
Maz pitted, went for another set of intermediate tyres. I continued, so did everyone else for the moment. The next lap it was Stuart and Danny that pitted. They're being safe. They're obviously in a battle for third in the championship. Stuart currently quite a way behind Danny, but still is mathematically possible. I stayed out. My championship is sewn up. It was time to make a bit of a gamble. My tyres not looking so great, but there was a chance of a dry spell on the horizon, and Jeff was telling me that I may be able to get there. With Maz right behind me having pitted, he obviously had much better tyre condition on those fresh inters, but I was able to hold him off for a few laps. That was mainly by just putting him a little bit wide so he could be on the curves for acceleration, and that was really enough to keep him at bay for a little while, until my tyres got to 75%. As you can see, I gave him the outside for turn 1. The whole time Stuart catching us both massively, and when you're on the outside curb there's no acceleration whatsoever. He actually makes a bit of a mistake here. As you can see on the map, it drops back a little bit. However, within one lap, he's actually right back behind us. And Stuart also joining the party, you can see him on the map as well. Not a lot I could do here to defend. I gave pretty much the minimum amount of space. Unfortunately, just like Kremer, I get pushed wide. Not only do I lose out to Mazna, but Stuart pounces as well. So they're both through. There's not a lot I can do at this point. If I pit, I'm going to be massively undercut.
We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A?
Well, changing strategy. This is music to my ears. Am I saved? Well, Ultrasofts have been suggested by Jeff. On they go. Where will I come out?
Release.
Let's see.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Well, there goes P5, so assuming I'd have put on a second set of inters, I probably would have been able to pass them up to P4, which is currently Kremer. However, I've made the wrong choice. These Ultras are clearly not the suitable tyre at the moment. OP sweeps around the outside on his intermediates for P6. So, Craig and I in a very bad position being on the dry tyres. Just look at the lack of grip I have here, and the Force Senior just sailing off into the distance. This torture continued for a few more laps. In fact, I even got a penalty for my woes, just unable to make corners. Mazna actually crosses the line while I'm just out of the first sector, so he grabs his 5th victory of the season. Our only consolation is the fastest lap of the race, but the best part about this is that Stuart only picks up 3 points on my teammate. She's still fighting for P3 in the championship. Next race is Mexico. Hopefully Mercedes can do a better job there. I've been Jacko. See you then.